This is the Uptick Network Stock Day Podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Penny stock news and interviews from the microcap world. Public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. With your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, we have a very exciting guest with us. He's actually a returning guest. He is the CEO of Green Polkadot Box Inc. Well, they trade on the OTC markets under the ticker symbol GPDB. Rod, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Everett. It's great to be back with you.
Tell my listeners a little bit about your company. I know that you guys are America's premier online membership club that deals in organic food, but give us the true rundown of your vision and what you guys are doing.
Well, we set out several years ago to build what I describe as a buying collective. I wanted to unite the purchasing power of millions of consumers into a single collective, if you will, to be able to effectively negotiate with manufacturers and producers of clean food. And by clean food, I mean organic or foods that are free of any GMO contaminants or other toxins, that we find common today in most of our food supply. So we set out to do this and to unite the purchasing power of consumers, to drive down prices, and to make clean foods more affordable and available for everybody, no matter where they live. So our basic business model is to source clean foods from manufacturers and producers, but also to distribute them through an online system direct to consumer, no matter where they live and whatever zip code. Currently, our prices are approximately 30% off retail, but we've come up with an exciting strategy that we've fully implemented now, and our buying collective is going to grow from thousands to millions very quickly. And we think that we'll achieve greater price reductions, even as much as 50 to 60% reductions off of retail by the end of this coming year. So it's pretty exciting.
You know, I was reading on one of your press releases about a week ago how big this market space is, and correct me if I'm wrong, it says it's over $43 billion market for organic foods. Is that correct?
That is the correct number today, but your listeners might be astounded to know that this is just the beginning. I believe that within the next 10 years, the clean food marketplace will grow to over $550 billion.
Wow.
Why? Why is that? Well, because a lot of people are getting onto the idea that their food is contaminated. Now, approximately 60% of all U.S. adults know that GMO is not good for you, and yet 70% of our food supply is contaminated with GMO and the related toxins that go with it, like glyphosate and glyphosate. And so you have a huge segment of the market, roughly 70 million adults and their families who recognize that there's a problem, but that there's an even greater problem, and that is that they can't afford clean foods. They're too darn expensive. And so as we implement our business strategy, prices will begin to fall, and you'll see a consumer shift. That 70 million people who are not buying regularly clean foods today will shift to their grocery budgets from contaminated GMO foods to clean foods, and that's why the marketplace is going to continue to expand to over $550 billion, I think, by within the next 10 years.
So I see that you guys are trying to put together a new paradigm. My question is, how does Green Polkadot Box get your customers after you created this paradigm?
Well, this is the great discovery that we made along the way. Sometimes when you start out with a certain idea, you think you've got it right, but then when you actually get into it, you learn, and you know that you can do things a better way. And that's what happened to us. In the first couple of years, we did over $8 million in sales. We attracted 28,000 customers, but we weren't getting anywhere close to the numbers. We weren't getting the kinds of customers and the numbers of customers that we needed to become a billion-dollar giant and achieve that goal of a collective. But something we recognized something along the way. We had some partners, if you will. We could call them partners. They were affiliates. Basically, these were influencers in the market, like the Organic Consumers Association, or Mike Adams with Natural News, or Jeffrey Smith with IRT. These people were real leaders in the clean food movement, and they had huge followings, hundreds of thousands to millions of people. And from time to time, we would work with them to do special promotions, offer special deals on clean food products to their customer bases. And we noticed that whenever they did the marketing, the conversion to order rates were huge by comparison to our own efforts. I'll never forget, we did a test with Yahoo to target 200,000 consumers in the San Francisco market, people that we knew were likely customers, and we got virtually zero response. We did the same promotion through Mike Adams with Natural News and got better than a 13% conversion to order rate. So anyway,
and why is that? And why is that?
Well, it's because consumers are more likely to respond to an offer from somebody that they know and trust. And so that was the difference. The people we marketed to in San Francisco didn't know who we were, didn't know whether they could trust us to place an order online. But when Mike did the promotion, they already knew, and there was no question about the value of the promotion. So along the way, in those first couple of years, we had these kinds of experiences, and then one day, I'm pretty thick-headed. It took a while for this to dawn on me. One day I said, Prod, why are you beating your head against the wall trying to create a new market when you could work with influencers that already have a market?
Right.
And so that gave birth to an idea called Health Merchant. And basically, about 2 years ago, we started investing all our money, every resource we had, into the development of a new technology platform that would enable health merchants, or in other words, market influencers that already had a customer base, to create an online platform to sell our product line directly to their customers under their own brand, not under the Green Polkadot Box brand. You see, our goal is to build the collective. We don't mind sharing the glory with the brands, with these influencers, letting them have their own online presence, their own brand, if you will, to market the products that we source directly to their own customers. So here's the bottom line, answering your question. Today, we have we're approaching 290 health merchants that have actually signed agreements. These are market influencers. And collectively, they have over 45 million customers, or potential customers, people that are in their constituencies or in their groups, or people that receive email from them, people with whom they have trusted relationships. So now we're ready. We've built this technology, and we've attracted these health merchants who have the customers in tow, and boy, it's going to have a huge impact on us in this coming year.
My guest today is Rod Smith. He is the CEO of Green Polkadot Box Inc. They trade on the OTC markets under the ticker symbol GPDB. Is there any way for potential investors to try your products before they invest in one of your stores?
Well, yeah. In fact, now that you mention it, our grand opening, our big launch of all these stores is scheduled for February 1st. So technically, we're not offering new products for sale today.
Okay.
But if people will go to our website, greenpolkadotbox.com, they can pre-register and be one of the first customers when we open these stores, and they get a 30% off discount on their first order. Now, let me tell you, 30% off on our pricing is huge, because our prices are already 30% off. So that's another 30%. We're talking about really a discount from 60 to 70% off their first order when we open in February. So if they go to greenpolkadotbox.com, they'll be presented with an opportunity to redeem that coupon, or in other words, reserve that coupon, and we'll send them an email immediately giving them the coupon code. And by the way, they also get a free entry into a $100,000 clean food sweepstakes that is happening at the same time. So So I would encourage everybody who is considering investing in the company or who wants to try our products to go and redeem a coupon and plan to order when we open in February.
If anybody's interested in investing into your company, you want to give out an email or a telephone number while I have you on here?
Well, the best way, I think, with that, Everett, is to go to our website we've created for investors, and that's simply GPDB, the acronym for Green Polkadot Box. So it's gpdb.investments with an S on the end, gpdb.investments. And you don't need to type in www. Just go to your web browser and in the URL bar type in gpdb.investments. That'll take you to the investment page. You can learn all about our current offering.
Do you guys have any stock offerings available now?
Well, we are just preparing right now for what's called a 506C offering. It's a marketable securities offering, and we're finalizing the paperwork, and that's going to be available coming out next week. The offering is for a relatively small amount of capital, a minimum of $750,000 to a max of $1.5 million. That offering is so that we can get our inventory in place in time for our February 1 launch, and that will give us enough inventory to use and start generating approximately $3 million a month in revenue when we open the stores.
So approximately, if everything goes to plan, and so far everything you said you're going to do, you have done, your market cap currently is around 3.6 million, and you're telling me and my listeners that revenues around maybe March or April would start be generating around 3 million a month.
That's exactly right, and that's just the beginning. When you really understand what we've accomplished, think about it this way: if you have 45 million people, potential customers, that you're marketing to through trusted health merchants or trusted influencers with whom they already have a relationship, you start to do the math. You know, if we got even a 1% response rate, or in other words, if only 1% of those 45 million shopped regularly, we've already know from our experience that the average order is $153. So if you take 1% of 45 million, which is 450,000 shoppers, spending $150 a month, do the math.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge. So when I say 3 million, that's really the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that's a very conservative approach.
Yeah, and we want to start out slowly. Of course, we don't want to grow faster than we have strength. But again, we have several years of operating history. We've processed over 100,000 orders. We've sold a lot of products, so we know what we're doing. But it's a perfect time for investors to get involved.
My guest today is Rod Smith. He is the CEO of Green Polkadot Box Inc. They trade on the OTC markets under the ticker symbol GPDB. Rod, I want to thank you for coming on the show. In closing here, is there anything that we didn't get a chance to talk about that you would like to get out to the listeners?
I think that the point I would make is, you're always looking to get a nice, modest return on your investment, but it's very rare that people have a chance to get in on a company that can really explode and become a billion-dollar giant. I'll give you a quick comparison. I hope we have time. Uber, for example, built a digital platform like we've built,
right,
to unite drivers with consumers. They united 1 million drivers with 8 million consumers. They did it in 6 years, and they're a $60 billion company. We have the potential to go way beyond that scale. We plan to capture $8,000 to $10,000 a year of the spending budget of consumers on groceries, and we plan to have 30 million consumers in our collective by the time we're done. So this company is going to scale fast. It's one of those rare opportunities where your investors have a chance to really hit a home run.
Well, you heard it here on Stock Day. I'm Everett Jolly, the host, talking to Rod Smith. He is the CEO of Green Polkadot Box. Rod, thank you very much for stopping by and coming to the show.
Thanks, Everett. Good to be with you again.
The following program is entirely sponsored and produced by Uptick Newswire LLC, which is responsible for the following content. The opinions and information provided on today's show are those of the guests and of those of the respective companies they represent, and does not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of this station. Uptick Network encourages all listeners of the show to do their own due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that'll work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional. The guests of today's show may have paid to appear on the show and are not directly affiliated with Uptick